Hey people, it's Niaz talking. This is another episode of Black History, and we're doing the Tuskegee experiment, the infamous syphilis study. Alright, let's go. The Tuskegee experiment began at a time when there was no known treatment for syphilis. After being recruited by the promise of free medical care, 600 men originally were enrolled in the project. The participants were primarily sharecroppers, and many had never before visited a doctor. Doctors from the U.S. Public Health Service, PHS, which was running the study, informed the participants, 399 men with latent syphilis and a control group of 201 others who were free of the disease. They were being treated for bad blood, a term commonly used in the area at that time to refer to a variety of ailments. The men were monitored by health workers but only given placebos such as aspirin and mineral supplements. Despite the fact penicillin became the recommended treatment for syphilis in 1947, they could cure it. PHS researchers convinced local physicians in Macon County not to treat the participants, and research was done at the Tuskegee Institute, now called Tuskegee University, the school founded in 1881 with Booker T. Washington as its first teacher. In order to track the disease's full progression, researchers provided no effective care, as the men died, went blind, or insane, or experienced other severe health problems due to their untreated syphilis. In the mid-1960s, a PHS venereal disease investigator in San Francisco named Peter Buxton found out about the Tuskegee study and expressed his concern to his superiors that it was unethical. In response, PHS formed a committee to review the study, but ultimately opted to continue it, with the goal of tracking the participants until all had died. Autopsies were performed and the project data could be analyzed. Do you understand how pointless this study is? I mean, people already know how bad syphilis is. We've known about this disease for 500 years. It's horrible. And they got a cure. What's the point? This isn't even about scientific research. It's just about torture. Just pure, unadulterated torture. Sick. As a result, Buxton leaked the story to a reporter friend who passed it on to a fellow reporter, Gene Heller of the Associated Press. Heller broke the story in July 1972, prompting public outrage and forcing the study to shut down. By that time, 28 participants had perished from syphilis, 100 more had passed away from related complications, at least 40 spouses had been diagnosed with it, and disease had been passed to 19 children at birth. In 1973, Congress held hearings on the Tuskegee experiments, and the following year, the study's surviving participants, along with the heirs of those who died, received a $10 million out-of-court settlement. Additionally, new guidelines were issued to protect human subjects in U.S. government-funded research subjects. Yeah, I get it. Just don't tell them. That's probably what the guideline was. In 1947, the Nuremberg Code was established in response to Nazi physicians forcibly performing gruesome experiments on prisoners in concentration camps during World War II. The document set forth basic ethical principles for medical research involving human subjects, such as the requirement that a person must give informed consent before participating in an experiment. As a result of the Tuskegee experiment, many African Americans developed a lingering deep mistrust of public health officials. Again, mistrust? I don't like the way they use this. This is something like mistrusting someone implies, oh, you have some bad memories. You've always shown that we can't trust you. In part to foster racial healing, President Clinton issued a 1997 apology stating the United States government did something that was wrong, deeply, profoundly, morally wrong. It is not only in remembering that shameful past that we make amends and repair our nation, but it is in remembering the past that we can build a better present and a better future. During his apology, the president announced plans for the establishment of Tuskegee University National Center for Bioethics in Research and Healthcare. The final study participant passed away in 2004. In 2010, Barack Obama and other federal officials apologized for another unethical US-sponsored medical study conducted decades earlier in Guatemala. In that study, from 1946 to 1948, nearly 700 men, prisoners, soldiers, mental patients, were intentionally infected with syphilis. Hundreds more were exposed to other sexually transmitted diseases as part of the study, without their knowledge or consent. The purpose of the study was to determine whether penicillin could prevent, not just cure, syphilis infection. Some of those who became infected never received medical treatment, so it was never even a finding out whether penicillin could cure it or prevent it. It was just about torture, unadulterated torture. I want to keep telling you this. It was not about science. It was about cold-blooded torture. It's just sick. The result of the study, which took place with the cooperation of Guatemalan government officials, never were published. So it was all for nothing, wasn't it? It wasn't even about science. There was no results published. The American public health researcher in charge of the project, John Cutler, went on to become a lead researcher in the Tuskegee experiments. Well, that's not a surprise. Following Cutler's death in 2003, historian Susan Reverby uncovered the records of the Guatemala experiments. While doing research related to the Tuskegee study, she shared her findings with U.S. government officials in 2010. Soon afterwards, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Secretary of Health and Human Services Kathleen Syphilis issued an apology for the STD study, and President Obama called the Guatemalan president to apologize for the experiments. I wonder, did they give any compensation to the victims of the Guatemalan study? You know, I mean, the syphilis is horrible. It's debilitating. It causes some of the most, you can look it up. I don't want to go into it. Anyway, I'm going to leave some links so you can read some more research as well as this one. And if you want to support this channel, leave my PayPal in the description, and you can follow me on Instagram. I'll leave that link there in the description as well. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace, family.